Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Osed. Firstly, let me apologize to everybody who has been patiently waiting for this video. Yeah, I've tried my best, but time did not help me a lot in making sure that I make this video well in time. But I think it's still the right time for, and the opportunity rather is better now than it was before. So I'm going to begin with the introduction of the topic. Of course, topic is something that I've been telling my friends and my colleagues that there's a possibility, there's an opportunity waiting for them to grab, which is immigrating to Australia. So I just want to clarify whatever questions they had with me. So I thought rather than answering them one by one, I would rather make a video where I will discuss each and everything that comes with Australian immigration. So with further ado, let's begin. The topics or the content that I have broken down this video into is the target audience, and that will of course consist of students, professionals, parents, and why would anybody think of Australia as a good country for, again, their children, themselves, and their career, their upcoming generations, and the cost that they'll incur in immigration, the types of visas that they can find to visit or to come to Australia. I'll be talking about them, but I'll be only talking about the types of visa that lead to immigration. I won't be discussing other types of visa because we do know that there are multiple types of visas that one can get to travel to any country. But I'll be only talking about the visa that will lead them to becoming a permanent resident in Australia, and then after 4 years being eligible to get the citizenship as well. So I'll be talking about the process briefly and the roadmaps and steps considering my target audience. So I have classified my target audience into four categories. The first one being the college students who have all the time in their hands to construct their future. The fresh graduates who are seeking entry-level positions in their fields. The skilled professionals who resonate with me because I chose this pathway. And finally, the parents who can guide their children to make a well-informed decision. All right, so this leads me to a very important question, and that is why Australia? I'm going to show you some stats that'll help you understand why I chose Australia. So in the Human Development Index, Australia is ranked at number 5. Among the most economically stable countries, it is ranked at number 6, right behind UK. Amongst the top 10 places to study abroad 2022, it is the topmost. And between the world's 10 wealthiest countries 2021, it is again right behind UK, number 6. Amongst the best countries for quality of life 2022, it is at number 9. And the countries who offer most religious freedom, it is at number 4. Least corrupt country in the world, it's at number 2nd, right behind Sweden. In the e-government development index, it is at number 7th. And amongst the safest countries in the world, it is currently at number 10. So another huge factor is the Australian passport and its strength. Let me take you to the Henley Passport Index. So in this website, they have categorized all the passports according to their strength, and Japan being the top one, followed by Singapore, and at number 8 is Australia, along with Canada, Czech Republic, Greece, Malta, and just above it is United States, Switzerland, Norway, New Zealand. And with Australian passport, you can visit 185 countries without a visa. We get back here. Okay, and another thing that surpasses all these factors is the fact that the wages in Australia, the minimum wage in Australia is $14.54 per hour, which is the highest minimum wage in the world. So if you work for 40 hours per week, by the end of the year, you will be earning 30,000 US dollars, which is the minimum wage in Australia. So from the different categories of visas that Australia offers, I have handpicked a few. Two of these are permanent residency visas, skilled nominated visa subclass 190, and skilled independent visa subclass 189, whereas two are provisional. They are region based, and then one is student visa subclass 500. The reason why I have added a student visa here is that, of course, it does not lead you to indefinite stay in Australia, but it gives you a good opportunity at converting this visa into a permanent residency visa. That is, by staying in Australia, studying in Australia, working in Australia, you do have a better opportunity than the people who are offshore, who are not in Australia. So I think that gives you an advantage over the people who have not visited or who have never worked or studied in Australia. So therefore, that's the reason I have added this. Of course, it's a long pathway, but it'll definitely lead you to immigration. That's the reason I've added it. Now I'll take you to the main website where all this data is, and I want you to just note those links. I'll also add those links in the description as well, and through those links you'll get the maximum and correct information right to the source. Alright, so this is the official website of Department of Home Affairs, and this is where you will be getting all the information regarding the different types of visas they offer, citizenship and other details. What you're going to do is you will be going to explore visa options. Here you will find different visas: visit and tourism, study, work, live here permanently, join partner or family, stay longer in Australia, refugee, and other visas. So if you go to the list of visas, you'll see they have categorized them by different segments. So the first one is visitor visas. Second one would be study and training visas. This is student visa subclass 500, which I did pick out in the presentation there. Then you have family and partner visas for people who already are settled here in Australia and want to bring their families. And then comes working and skill visas. This is the category which will give you an opportunity to settle permanently in Australia. So here is a skilled independent visa subclass 189 and skilled nominated visa subclass 190. There is another opportunity there with skilled recognized graduate visa. So if you have graduated from a recognized university and using that degree and using that skill set that you've learned, you can apply for this one. This is another opportunity that the fresh graduates need to explore, subclass 476. Although they give you temporary work visa to work here for I think 2 or 4 years, you can explore it further. All you got to do is just open it, and once you'll open the link, you'll get to see the further details they have to offer regarding this visa. So let's see, work and study. Yeah, stay usually up to 18 months. So that is that is the option they give. But what you can do is, of course, once you're going to come here, you're going to utilize the time, and meanwhile you will be applying for PR as well. So this is something important for you to understand, that you can always bridge your visas. Okay, so here it says this visa allow recent engineering graduates. So this is only for the engineering graduates. To live, work or study in Australia for up to 18 months, you must have completed a degree or higher education qualification from a specified institution. You'll have to check the eligibility, check the institution within the past 2 years. So it needs to be recent and be under 31 years of age. So you can use this to come here, and then further you can explore the opportunities of getting PR. Okay, so then there are other visas, but we won't be talking about those right now. Okay, so first let's discuss skilled nominated 19D. Skilled nominated visa. This visa lets nominated skilled workers live and work in Australia as permanent residents. That's what I was telling you about, that this visas let you stay here indefinitely. So here are the with visas you can stay in Australia permanently, work and study in Australia. There's just one catch in here which I will talk about. What you're going to do is to check whether you're eligible for this visa or not. All you're going to do is go to eligibility. Here you will see that be invited to apply, be nominated. So this is something different from this visas, visa 2189, which I'll be talking about later. That here you'll have to be invited or nominated by one of the states of Australia in order to come here on permanent basis. So this has to do with the states. You'll have to individually check the states, their own skill requirements, their own ANZO codes. I'm going to talk more about the ANZO codes as well for you to understand. And you have to at least be able to get 65 points in order to be eligible for this visa. The step-by-step process is, before you apply, you must submit an expression of interest. So through these permanent visas, permanent residency visas, all you got to do is you have to first look at the occupation that they are requiring. If you match that kind of skill set, you have that kind of experience, you have that kind of education, all you got to do is, one, you got to have an assessment. I'm going to talk more about that as well. Once you have the assessment, once you get all the points, then you can just submit an expression of interest in their systems, and through that expression of interest, they basically invite you if they find you eligible and everything looks good on their end. So these are the steps. We're going to talk more about them later. So as I mentioned, that with 190 you have to be nominated by the state. So you'll have to stay in that state for at least 2 years, and once you have completed that, then you can relocate or move to any part of Australia. Then comes skilled independent visa subclass 189, which is a point tested stream. I'm going to talk more about that as well. In this case, you can stay in any part of Australia as long as you get this visa. The process is again quite similar. What you got to do is, first you have to check in the skilled occupation list and be eligible for it by at least securing 65 points or higher. The higher points you get, the more chances for you to be able to get the visa. And then you have to submit an expression of interest. As I just mentioned, the first step is first to check whether you're eligible or not. Once you see that you are eligible, you have your occupation is in the list of the demand occupations, and then you submit your expression of interest in Skill Select. It's their platform. You can access it from this website. Once you have submitted your expression of interest, they have rounds after every 2 months. Once those rounds are done, they'll see whether you where do you stand, because it's a point stream. So the higher the points you have on that particular occupation, the more chances you have to get the invitation to apply for visa. Once you have that invite with you, all you got to do is gather your documents, apply, and then wait for the correspondence. And once, I mean, everything looks good, all you got to do is just go for the medical. They'll tell you when to have the medical, and then they'll grant you the visa if everything, I mean, all your documents are accurate, everything looks good on your end. So that is the whole process. So if we talk about this visa in particular, you'll see it's similar to 190. The only difference is, again, I did mention that you're going to be getting all the perks, but the only difference is for 190, it's state nominated. With 189, I mean, it comes under the Australian government. I mean, you can stay anywhere and you can travel to and from Australia for 5 years, and then once your 4 years are completed, you can always apply for the citizenship as well. So this is I mean, the fees for 190, the fees for 189 are similar. So the only difference is both have their, I mean, all the states have their different skilled occupation demand, and so as the whole government. So you got to see which suits you. And if you see here, you can see there's no mention of be nominated, just like in 190, because this is 189. It does not need you to be nominated. All you got to do is find that they are the occupation that you have is in demand, and to see whether that occupation is in demand or not, let me tell you that I did, yeah. So all you got to do is, this is another list, skill occupation list. This is for 189. I'm sure they will have for 190 here as well. Yes. So here, all you got to do is select the visa category that you're going after. For example, if I want to see which are the occupations that are listed in 189, all I got to do is click on this and it'll take me to that. So what they have done is they have given code to each occupation. Okay, that is called ANZSCO code. Okay, Australia and New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations. So you have to see whether you are, I mean, falling in that ANZO code or not. And upon that, what you're going to do is here you can see the list. So right now it's 674 occupations that are in demand. All you got to see is check your occupation. For example, you are an accountant general. So all you got, this is your ANZO code. You can apply for these different visas. Okay, and all you got to do is you got to vet your experience or your classification or your degree, your skill set from the assessing authority. Okay, so they'll mention the assessing authorities. You can use these authorities, I mean, approach these authorities, and then you have to, I mean, follow their process, follow their procedure, and only after they give you a thumbs up, you will be able to I mean, produce your EOI, and then of course you'll have the authentic document to share with them. So even if you're an actor, you can apply. Okay, through VETASYS. You'll have to first get assessed by VETASYS. If they say that yes, you fulfill our requirement, only then you'll be submitting your expression of interest. Once you have your expression of interest, then if you get invited, they'll ask for all the supporting documents. You'll give them the documents, and then they'll process your visa. So all you got to do is see if your occupation is in demand or not. Advertising manager, they can apply in the visa category of 190, 407, 489. So there are a lot of categories. All you got to do is do some research. As I told you, that permanent residency is offered in 190, and then there's 189. So here they're not offering 189. So that is how you check what kind of visa you can get or what kind of visa you're eligible for. Once you have seen that, okay, my occupation is listed here, I can apply. What you're going to do is now you're going to check how many points you can actually get. So for that, you will come to the points calculator. you will have to select the visa subclass. For example, I'm looking at 189, so I'm going to click on 189. Then I'm going to just use this calculator to see whether how many points I'm going to get or not. My age is 32, so I'm going to select this. English language requirement, I've already passed the exam, so I'll go with Superior English. Then it asks you what kind of skill employment experience you have. Then you'll see that if you are working outside Australia, this is something I was referring earlier as well, that if you are coming on a student visa and you get an opportunity to work here in Australia, you'll get benefit of that. If you have worked outside Australia, you'll have to select this. Each number has their own points, so I'm selecting at least 5 but less than 8 years. Okay, so this is how you will proceed with this, and then of course you'll have to study this, that whether you can claim this or not. You'll have to go through these. Once you do that, okay, at least less than 1 year, let's say that I say that less than 1 year I have this. Then occupation, if you have a doctorate from an Australian education. So again, I'm coming back to the same point, that if you have studied here, if you have worked here, you'll have a better opportunity, better possibility than the people who have not come here, who have education from outside Australia, work experience outside Australia. Okay, so for example, I say at least a bachelor degree from another educational institute that is of a recognized standard. Okay, study requirements, do you have at least 1 degree diploma grade education that meets the Australian study requirement? I say yes. For example, specialist education qualification, do you have master's degree by research or doctorate? I say yes. Accredited community language, which is NATI, you can give the test here in Australia. That's the translation test. For example, if your language is Spanish and you just give a translation test in English, so you can get 5 points from this as well. Study in regional Australia, do you have at least 1 degree from education that satisfies the requirement of obtain living and eligible for regional Australia? I say yes. Relevant partner skill qualification, your spouse or de facto partner must be. So all you got to do is just go through this, and then once you're done with it, you'll get to know that how many points you are getting in total. So see, right now I'm getting 115 points. How come? First comes the point of age. I'm getting maximum point because if you're between from 25 to 33, you get the maximum points. My English score is the maximum 20 because I did mention that I had superior language skills, work experience outside Australia. I did mention 5 years, so therefore 10. I did mention that I don't have any experience working in Australia, so 0. Qualification, I did mention I have a bachelor's degree recognized by the institutions of Australia or any body of Australia, 15 for that. So this is how you're going to fill your eligibility criteria, by getting as much points as possible. Okay, so this is something that you need to understand. So just to summarize, what are the steps that I need to perform if I want to immigrate to Australia on a permanent residency visa? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the occupation list for the visa I'm interested in. For example, if I'm doing 190, I'm going to go to the state websites and then I'm going to check their occupation list and see if my skill set is in demand or not. Then the second thing is to check your eligibility. Okay, I just showed you the calculator. I'm going to post the link as well. You're going to check whether you're eligible or not. All you got to do is get 65 or more points to be eligible. Okay, being eligible does not necessarily mean that you'll get the invitation, because being eligible gets you in that line. So in order to get the invitation, all you got to do is make sure you get as many points as possible. Okay, and they have to be authentic. You cannot make up any points because you'll have to then prove them as well. All you can do is you can check the last round cutoff points. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. Let me show you how you can check that. So here you're going to come on this link where you'll see the invitation rounds. Okay, what you got to do is you're going to just see, for example, if I talk about 189, so these are the number of expression of interest that were replied with an invitation. So this is why I'm saying it's the right time to apply, because this number was nowhere near this. It was probably just in a couple of thousands. Right now they are at 11,000. That means they are inviting more and more people. So minimum score, as I mentioned, 65, and for even for regional provisional 65. Okay, so all you got to do is just click on this, and then it'll take you to all the occupations. Let me see if I got the right one. No, sorry, I have to go back. It was right at the bottom. Okay, yeah, this so occupation included in 6th October 2022 invitation rounds. So these are all the occupation list with their cutoff points. So these are all the, so for example, cardiologists need to need to have at least 85 or more in order to that's the only possible way he could have or she could have been selected or invited, if they had more than 85 or even 85 points in this particular occupation. Similarly, if I go ahead, emergency medical specialist 80. So right now the threshold is really low, 65 most of the occupation I see. So this is the best time to apply. Don't wait a lot, because after COVID, things are getting better for the people who are applying. Pre-COVID, things were not looking good at all. So all you got to do is see, for example, if I am a quantity surveyor, that's my occupation. I can show the relevant experience, I can show the relevant degree, or if I had applied an expression of interest with anything around 65 or more points, I would have been invited by now. So this is the right time. Do not wait too much. You guys need to apply. So coming back to what I was suggesting, that first you got to check your occupation list. Then you have to check that either you're eligible or not. If you're eligible, how many points you are scoring. And then you have to look at the last rounds, couple of rounds, to see what's the threshold. For example, if I can only make up 65 points, but the cutoff is 80 points, that's no good. I got to work harder to get the points, or I have to look at the other visa opportunities. Okay, then what you got to do is you have to get your degree and your experience assessed by the relevant body. I did mention you in that link where you had your ENZO code and then the assessing bodies. Then you have to submit your EOI and then wait for the invite. Once you have the invite, all you got to do is just complete the visa documentation and then wait for the medical. Once the medical is done, you're sure gonna get the visa. So if we talk about the overall cost of immigration, and I'm referring to PR here, so that makes it 190 and 189 primarily. So visa cost is around 4,240 assessment cost. Depending on which body assesses your degree and qualification, it ranges from 800 to 1,200 and sometimes more. As I said, it's just an average I've put here. Then you have to, of course, go for your PTE or IELTS. Both are accepted here in Australia. They'll cost you around 385. Then you have to go for your medical, which again depends on from which country you're doing your medical. The prices change. I've just given the figure that I paid. Then your ticket, again, it all depends on when you buy your ticket, which airlines do you select, which kind of class you pick. So it all depends, but roughly, just to give you an idea, the total cost would be around 7,500 Australian dollars. And if you add more dependents in your visa categories, I mean, for the people who are bringing their family along, of course the price is going to be changed for each dependent that is added in your visa. You'll have to pay an additional cost. Okay, you won't have to pay this cost. You might not need to give IELTS. You can give IELTS, I mean, ask your spouse or partner to give IELTS. That'll give you more points, but it's not necessary. Then for medical, of course, for each individual, you'll have to pay medical and ticket as well. So it's going to change according to that. So I hope I have covered most part of it, and just to give you a roadmap, and depending on my audience, I would suggest the college students, they need to do is they need to select the bachelor's degree, which of course they have interest in. And what they can do is they can just filter out their interest. For example, somebody wants to get ahead with cybersecurity or something like that, anything related to IT or any other degree for that matter. All you got to do is filter out those interests, and then if they want to come to Australia later, or even if they want to do their bachelor's from Australia, what you got to do is go to that answer codes and see which degrees are in demand. That way, once they kind of come here, they'll have better chance at getting the PR rather than the degrees that are not in demand or have a higher threshold of cutoff points. Similar case with the fresh graduates. What they're going to do is, I mean, not too similar, of course, they have already done their degrees, but what they can do is, in case their occupation is not in that answer code, what they can do is they can do masters in an occupation that is related to those answer codes, and build their experience related to that, and then come to Australia on the PR. They'll have a better opportunity of getting the PR if they have the masters and the experience relevant to what is in demand in Australia. For the professionals like myself, there's not much that you can do because you have done your qualification, you have your experience. What you're going to do is, of course, you have to just rely on the answer codes, and you got to look at 190 for the state, then of course the 189 for the countrywide. You're going to see that your occupation is there or not. If it is there, see the threshold, work on it, improve your points, and then you'll have a better opportunity at getting a PR. And what else you can do? There are another provisional visas as well. You can come there for a year or two. I think 2 years is the minimum you have to stay there for regional. Just spend some time there. It's all right to come in regional. You'll definitely be getting opportunities there as well. Once you have that experience, then apply for your bridging visas. I think that way you'll have a better opportunity. So it's all in the planning. If you plan it well, there's a better opportunity for you waiting ahead. Right now, I'm going to say this again. Right now, things are looking very good for the people who are looking for immigrating to Australia, because the points are really low. Ask the people who have applied 2 years back pre-COVID. They were thinking there's no chance they're going to get any PR or any visa soon. So plan it accordingly. If you have any questions, just write me those questions in the comment. I'll try to answer them one by one. And if I see that many people have the same questions, I'm gonna make another video as well. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. I just gave my best to make sure I cover as much as I can. I'm sure I must have missed out a couple of things, but I'll do a part 2 as well once I see the response, and once I see the questions, and based on those I'll be making more videos on that. So thank you so much. A wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are located, and take care of yourself. Plan accordingly. Bye.